We're back! Told you.
Hit him with it.
The Debate Show. GoldenDebateShow.com. Like, comment, share, and download as much as you can. Part 2. Also, we got this build.
I'm just trying to wake you up, everybody.
Warning.
I'm just trying to wake you up.
Warning.
I'm just trying to wake you up, everybody.
Golden Debate Show. Wow. Golden Debate Show. We're gonna talk about this, talk about
Get that mac and cheese. Everybody deserves their mac and cheese.
I'm just trying to wake you up, everybody. I'm just trying to wake you up.
Get that mac and cheese. Everybody.
Had a smart remark.
I was gonna say, I should be drinking my dandelion tea right now.
Well, this lady does sometimes she was talking to them and she does like crazy things like Coral Castle, different like spots, and she makes songs about them. Now I didn't hear this one, I gotta admit, but I heard almost all the other ones. This one's Serpent Mountain, and I like the Serpent Mountain, so I was hoping it'd be a little bit more, let's just say harder. Not necessarily you can make a piano track hard.
British Secret Services at the time, certainly during the run-up to Iraq, I certainly know of major broadcasting figures who would meet with them, and the security services would be telling them, it's terrible, we're coming under intolerable pressure from governments and politicians to mess around with the intelligence.
Let's get in with some clips.
Seem to be suggesting the intelligence services are not
Well, politicians have to take on trust what the intelligence agencies tell them. And the politicians keep coming out and saying, we know what they're doing because we have to sign this, we have to sign that, and they brief me every week. But actually, I know from the inside how easy it is for the spies to lie to their notional political masters. And they do, and they get away with it because there is no way of their knowing they've been lied to.
Presumably the present heads of the Secret Services would say, it's changed since those
I'm
days.
just trying
It has
to wake
changed,
you
I
up,
agree.
everybody.
I think it's got
I'm
worse.
just trying to wake you up.
How do we know?
By reading between the lines. The fact that they can have secret courts, the fact that they have culturally shifted from the 1990s where they did not use torture to now being complicit in it. And the reason in the 1990s they didn't use torture was vaguely ethical, but actually it was based on experience from the Civil War in Northern Ireland in the 70s and 80s when they had done. And they realised it was counterproductive. It created blowback, it created a whole new generation of very angry people who potentially could become terrorists. That is what we're seeing again across the Middle East and Central Asia.
Mark Zuckerberg says the world's top scientists deserve fame and fortune. And some of them got a taste of celebrity on Thursday night at the Breakthrough Awards. It's a sort of Oscars for scientists, and it's backed by the Facebook mastermind, along with Google co-founder Sergey Brin, and some other notable names in tech. Award winners shared a $21 million prize pot. Dan Simon spoke to Zuckerberg about his hopes for the project.
The big goal here is to treat and honor scientists in the way that they should be recognized by society.
Mark Zuckerberg changed the world with Facebook. Now he wants to change how the world looks at scientists, to make them more revered, like Hollywood celebrities.
Do you think that's an attainable goal, to change the way people look at scientists?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it used to be the case back in Albert Einstein's day that, I mean, he really was viewed as, you know, part of pop culture and a rock star in his time. And it's really a shame that we've lost that.
So with stars like Kevin Spacey...
It's kind of great to see the geeks and the nerds get a really fantastic night.
And Conan O'Brien.
Nerds seem to have the upper hand these days, don't they? When I was a kid, it was jocks.
Zuckerberg helped organize an Oscars-like award show, complete with paparazzi and red carpet.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
To shine the spotlight on some of the world's smartest people.
Do you want this to be the most prestigious prize in science?
I don't know if we think about it in those terms,
Although
but we
Wide
certainly
Shut was
want this to
released in
be both a meaningful
1999,
reward
I didn't get
for
around
the...
to seeing it until 2005. The centrepiece of the film that stuck in memory after that first viewing was, of course, the Somerton Mansion sequence, which was shocking not just for its paranoid and cynical content regarding Western society's rich and powerful, but also for the fact that the film had been made by the great Stanley Kubrick, believed by many to be a cinematic genius and the greatest filmmaker ever lived. Kubrick was renowned for his intellect, meticulous research, and sharp social insights communicated through films such as Dr. Strangelove, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and The Clockwork Orange. What the hell was this guy doing making a movie like Eyes Wide Shut? Had he always been this paranoid, or was it old age settling in? Even more freakish was that there were no interviews with the director about his final film, because he apparently died a few days after screening it to his family and the cast and crew who'd worked on it, though some online sources claimed that he died after a screening to Warner executives. Now, my take on the Somerton Mansion orgy sequence is that it's a symbolic rather than literal event, a dreamlike mirroring of the Ziegler party seen earlier in the film, in which men with money seek to exploit women under a veil of sophisticated high society politeness. And I explained that interpretation in detail in my half-hour Eyes Wide Shut analysis video back in 2009. I still stand by that interpretation, but, as Bill Harford says,
and no dream is ever just a dream.
I've since done some more research into the film and found some interesting factoids. One of the most interesting real-world events in relation to Eyes Wide Shut is Alex Jones's infiltration of the Bohemian Grove in the year 2000, in which he filmed these occult-like ritual shenanigans, which were allegedly attended by some of America's most rich and powerful.
Shenanigans.
Warning. Begone, dull care. Fire shall have its will of thee. Begone, dull care. And all the winds make merry with thy ducks. Hail, fellowship's eternal flame. Once again, midsummer sets us free.
In several ways, the event parallels Bill Harford's accidental infiltration of the Somerton Mansion orgy in Eyes Wide Shut. For example, a mock human sacrifice took place at the Bohemian Grove involving an effigy. And in Eyes Wide Shut, a woman supposedly sacrifices herself to save Bill Harford. Then there's the over-top sexual activity, which of course I've been careful to avoid showing in the YouTube version of this video. Although we don't see any sexual acts in Alex Jones's footage, bizarre sexual behaviour at the Bohemian Grove has been reported several times, though how accurate those reports are is anyone's guess. Believers in the Illuminati theory regarding who runs America very often cite the Bohemian Grove infiltration as proof that the Illuminati exists. But there's nothing in the footage to prove or even suggest that this group of weirdos call themselves Illuminati. There's also no proof to my knowledge that the Illuminati actually exists at all in the world today. Sure, there are the Masons, the Skull and Bones Society at Yale University, the Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, and Bilderberg Group, each of which is debatable in terms of its conspiratorial activities and connections with top-level power. But the existence of these groups is very well documented. However, the documented existence of the Illuminati is limited to the past. Yes, they were around from about 1776, but where is the proof that they exist now? I can't find it. In fact, I've long suspected that Illuminati rumours are deliberately promoted and given more attention by mainstream media shills seeking to dampen public distrust of Western governments in light of much more compelling evidence of corruption.
It's the most secretive and controversial spy agency in the world. So why did the NSA open its doors and speak to 60 Minutes? Find out Sunday.
Hashtag.
Yep, they want to listen in and want you to watch it.
It's the most secretive and controversial spy agency in the world. So why did the NSA open its doors and speak to 60 Minutes? Find out Sunday.
We don't wound others again and again. We show respect 100%. If you punch a friend on the playground,
The half-brother of golfing legend Tiger Woods was arrested on Thursday in Phoenix for allegedly making a false bomb threat at the government building in which he works. 58-year-old Earl Dennison Woods Jr. is accused of calling in the threat at the Department of Economic Security. After 100 people were evacuated from the building and no device found, Woods, who is the father of pro-female golfer Cheyenne Woods, later admitted to the department's management he had called it in.
The rabbit has landed.
As a joke.
Called U2 in Chinese or Jade Rabbit, this was the moment the rover touched down on board its lander, the Chanfa 3. Arriving right on target in an area known as the Bay of Rainbows and watched live across China on TVs like the one in a restaurant near Workers' Stadium, Beijing. It marks another milestone in the Chinese space program, methodically following in the footsteps of the Russian and American exploits of years ago. At this store, the scale models of the Jade Rabbit and its lander are selling fast.
State for him to have been in, to be that violent. So we're going to hear more about, I think, the mental state, once again, of this young person.
A young girl.
And random shooting. Yeah, random shooting at Piers. That's a terribly agitated state. And again, he walks in brandishing a shotgun. That's not a kid who is sort of diabolically planning something. That is a kid who is in a state that is altered, and then quickly, when he can't find the teacher, turns the gun on himself. There's more to be told here.
Oh, I'm sure this investigation is only beginning.
That's right. That's right. We may be able to understand in terms of motivation about what it is he had as a bone of contention with that teacher, but that does not explain, I don't care what is going on between him and that teacher, that does not explain the magnitude of the alteration of his mental state, the magnitude of the agitation a young person would have to manifest in order to walk into his own high school. Imagine this, not with a concealed weapon, brandishing a shotgun, and then randomly shooting peers, and then quickly turning that weapon on himself. That is not a kid in a normal mental state, in my estimation. Obviously, I'm speculating, but you've got to think about manias, you've got to think about drugs, you've got to think about other sorts of disorders, all of which in which an unregulated state of agitation can manifest in a young person. And again, what's going on in Colorado? I have a concern that there may be difficulty in Colorado intervening when there are the kinds of symptoms that suggest somebody's in trouble. I believe that's what we're going to see in Aurora. I'm concerned that's what we're going to see here, that people don't intervene with the same kind of intentionality.
To forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
GoldenDebateShow.com. Golden Debate Show. Like,
Yow, yow, yow.
I can go twice as high.
We can't reach y'all. Keeps it golden, keeps it golden. We can't reach y'all. We can't breathe anyway. I'm gonna try though. We keeps it gold. We're breathing in mold. We keeps it gold. Check this one out. Cairo AP. Egypt's top prosecutor referred toppled Islamic President Mohammed Mozari to trial Wednesday for conspiring with Palestinian group Hamas, Lebanon's Hezbollah, and others to carry out a campaign of violence in the Sinai Peninsula and beyond to destabilize the countries following his ousting. So in September, we ousted the Egypt president. So they're actually going to try him on conspiracy charges. Prosecutors claim that while President Mazari and his aides revealed state secrets to the militant groups and to Iran's Revolutionary Guards, Mazari and 35 others, including the Muslim Brotherhood's top 3 leaders, are also accused of sponsoring terrorism and carrying out combat training and other acts to undermine Egypt's stability. The charges, which refer to incidents as far back as 2005, carry the death penalty. Da-da-da. So let's get it in. Extra long clip. We'll wrap it up on this part 2 of the Golden Debate Show. Tell them where to go, Tone.
Mob.com, Golden Debate Show.
What?
I'm just trying to wake you up, everybody. I'm just trying to wake you up. Down in one of those catacombs. There's other guys that they look like. I don't know. This don't make no sense, everybody.
The beast is Saturn.
Get that mac and cheese. Everybody deserves their mac and cheese.
It's time. Saturn creates time. It creates what we live in. That initially, and for all intents and purposes, that thing is God. But it's their God. It's not mine. Because there's one higher than that one. That's timeless. When people say infinity, it's infinity. I-N, like inside. Infinity means time. So you're in time. And as I stated yesterday, if you want to go be with God for infinity, then you're speaking about the God that rules this world, and that's Saturn. This is the seal of Saturn. You see it? That's the seal of Saturn. That's what it looks like. If you just do a little bit to the seal of Saturn, now you have the Star of David, which is really the seal of Solomon, and that goes back to the seal of Saturn, which you just saw. But there's a thing that people drive around with on their car. It's called the Jesus fish, and all that is a sine and a cosine wave, because it's representing the seal of Saturn. So now you understand.
I'm just trying to wake you up, everybody. I'm trying to wake you up.
I don't want to offend anybody's religious beliefs. I still believe in Jesus Christ. It doesn't change my mind one bit. But there's a lot of science involved in that book. It's a good moralistic book. It does represent the Son of God, my Savior, Jesus Christ. Aside from that, it's a great moralistic book. But it's.
I'm just trying to wake you up, everybody. I'm trying to wake you
NASA
up.
knows more about that planet Saturn, trust me, than they're letting on to the public. Okay? They know way more about that because they've known about Saturn from the beginning of time. That planet is what rules this world, and the sooner that people understand that, the better off they're going to be. They just kept it hidden from you because there's laws in nature and physics. They don't want you or their competitors or whatever to get a hold of the knowledge, so they give it to you in a religious story form. But in reality, churches have nothing to do with looking out for your best interests. Okay, you see, that's the serpent that's in the Garden of Eden. The Bible is not bullshit, but the way that they crafted the story and made you think of something else is. And on top of that, when you're trying to explain physics to a guy, that doesn't understand physics, you have to use other means, and that's why they use the story of the Garden of Eden, which is what creates the cube. It's called Oribus. It's a snake biting its tail. Okay? That represents Saturn. It comes out of Babylonia. It represents Saturn. That was time. It wasn't a serpent as in a snake. It was a serpent as far as time. A sine
I'm
wave.
just trying to wake you up,
Red
everybody.
and blue.
I'm trying to wake you
A
up.
cosine wave that creates time. We have it's interesting because the Masons have a red and blue lodge. That's a time cube. It represents time and space. It has nothing to do with Jesus Christ. It has nothing to do with saving your soul.
Ready for war, Joe? How you wanna blow this spot? I know these dirty cops that'll get us in if we murder some wop. Hop in your Hummer, the punish is ready. Leave me your Beatles with noodles. What do this do while he's slurping spaghetti?
That planet is what rules this world, and as soon as the people understand that, the better off they're going to be. Okay, so why do they say that we're sinful? They say that we're sinful, or that you're born of natural sin, because you're born into sign. And when you're born into time, when you're born into sign, you're born into sin. Now, why does sin keep you away from the Creator? Why?
I mean, to discuss that, you got to be pretty disgusting.
It's ruled by time, the circle, and space, the square. The Creator is timeless. There is no time where he exists. This thing that men call God is the God of infinity. So let's look at the word infinity. So when you say, oh, I'm going to be with God for infinity, yes, if you want to stay here, you can be with him for infinity. It's a loop. You go round and around and around. You have to rise above that and get to where there is no time.
Jobs,
so when they say,
jobs,
oh, man,
and jobs. Let's vote for
jobs.
jobs.
Born into the third dimension. And as the Bible says, the wages of sin is death. When you're born into the third dimension, you live in the third dimension, and as we all know, time, given enough of it, destroys everything.
I'm just trying to wake you up, everybody.
That's why in Revelations, the beast is Saturn, because it regulates time. Given enough of it, it will kill you, your friends, your pets, destroy, rust, break down everything in the third dimensional level. And death is always associated with sadness and wailing and gnashing of teeth. And that is why, it's interesting, because when you look, I forgot to bring this up, when you look at a sine wave written, okay, written in physics, it's red, okay? And because that's sin, and that's in reference to sine, which represents time, and the devil is what color? He's red. Nobody is born evil. Nobody's born into natural sins.
Jobs,
like everything else.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
Did not want that out because those stories are coded stories that are written in high physics. The Old Testament is stories about reflections, light waves, atomic weights, dates, what else? Vibrations, mathematical codes that are what that thing up in the sky creates, that makes the reality that we live in. So for all intents and purposes, that thing is God to this planet, not to me. I believe in the guy that's above him. The problem is we don't know what his name is. So that's why I believe in Jesus. He's the only guy in between me and the Creator. That thing, as it spins, the rings, creates time. Time creates energy. Okay? This planet is a big-ass battery. Okay? There's billions of people living on it. Let me explain to you how that works.
Warning.
Science says that we don't have to sleep.
Down there in one of those catacombs. There's other guys.
When it's light on our side of the world, it's dark on the backside, correct? So everybody goes to bed. Most people do. As the sun that strikes the earth is like a battery. As the light comes in, it's recharging the other side where everybody's sleeping. Okay? And as it spins and it comes around and it's nighttime on our side, the sun that's now hitting the other side of the world is now recharging our side. And as you walk around outside and you breathe your air, you are grounded. There's an energy that's created that goes up into all things. Okay? The earth is a big-ass battery, but like any battery, it can only put out so much power. The earth spins. As the earth spins, it creates a gravitational pull. If you stop the electrical current of this planet, everything will drop dead in a heartbeat. And what you're seeing going on with the birds and the fish, that's all being staged. That's all staged because they're making you think that, what man's done through the environment is
jobs,
wrong. No,
jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
They're going to convince you that you need to go.
He's a jackass.
Not just all this other luxuries that you have, but you need to be taken care of. You need to be gone. And so they're going to make it convenient for you to kill yourself by killing you themselves. So we have wars. They're all contrived. They're all created. There's no world leader that's mad at another world leader enough to wipe out a whole civilization. But they're getting ready to. But it's also going to be the excuse on why we need to get rid of your ass. And that is why if you go and read the Georgia Guidestones, it says the new world should have 500 million. There's 7 billion now. That's a 97% reduction rate. I have no problem with all of these people here. I don't want to see one person die. But what other solution in their minds can they do? So the word sin is sign, it's time. Okay? Because it's sin is sign and sign is sin. Sin is equated with time. Time is equated with Saturn. And Saturn is what regulates time. And because time kills everything, given enough of it, We all have seen people die. We've had pets. You know, we watch ourselves age. There's no way to get around it. The Bible clearly says, who can bring war against the beast? Nobody. So sin has nothing to do with being evil. Men don't need a deity to talk shit or to rob each other or to murder each other. They do that on their own. But you're not born sinful. You understand that I'm not lying to you, I'm not bullshitting you. I believe that Jesus is my Savior, and I think a lot of things that guy said were never ever given to people. So now that you know the word sin means nothing to do with evil,
Down in one of
what
those
else do they bullshit
catacombs.
us about?
There's other guys that they looks like, I don't know. This don't make
And
no
that
sense
being
to
the
everybody.
case, it's nothing more. The word synagogue, where the Jews go, sin. S-Y-N. Sin. Time. Gau. Okay, the word gau is the horse's
Jobs,
bit.
and jobs.
It restrains.
Let's vote
Time
for jobs.
restrains. So they go to synagogue, okay, to worship the time Lord. This whole thing with what's going on with Christianity. Let me explain something to you. The word Christianity is a misnomer. Let's backtrack where this all started. The Catholic Church built an empire off a sentence that Jesus supposedly said to Peter, and he said, "You will be the rock of the church." Well, Jesus never said that because the word church was created in about the 14th century, and it's a Masonic word, which comes from the word kirk. That word kirk comes from the mythological creature called Circe, which was a creature, pay attention, that would hypnotize people, lure them into her house, and then feed off of them. Sounds like a church. So Jesus never went
Down in one of those catacombs. There's other guys that they look like, I don't know. This don't make no sense to
My
everybody.
belief in Jesus Christ is based off of everything that the Christian church is not. See, the reason that the Christian church is hated is because all people see is the vileness that the Vatican does, raping children, murdering, satanic sacrifice. Come on, we all know it's true. You know it's true, I do too. The real ones.
Tell them where to go. Tell them where this is.
Nothing.
Tell them we're wrapping up.
Zero
soon.
zilch. We don't even look at it. We don't even consider it. Big show. So, you know, the next time you go to open your mouth and scream, that someone's warning. We don't like the church any more than you don't like the church.
Stay golden, stay classy.
Trying to tell you guys,
Get your knowledge up.
religion is based on Saturn alien.
The obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
The ghost and the darkness have come.
He's here. Thanks for listening to The Golden Show. All thoughts and opinions are solely that of the host, guests, and sources, and is only to keep free thought alive. Golden Show, earlymorninglaw.com.
Because it is the government. The government doesn't act as talking about. And so, what are you talking about? Church and get the truth. Because I was raised a Lutheran, that guy, he has a job.
Talking about all that talking like this, like that, all day in your hood. Golden shows, golden words, stories, make life, smoke open and go. Chirping tonight, have no shit, putting it in talking. You know they say you're talking like this, talking like that, we're talking. Golden debate show, golden debate show, golden debate show. We got this, we're talking hood, draw the line, and we better talk with big chat. You know we're coming after that. Golden show, golden robes, golden balls, golden scrolls, golden what?
The Golden Show. It's golden.
Jobs, jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for
Within
jobs.
the far stone, an emptiness is echoing. The thoughts of frenzied atmosphere